At this point, we all know about the Star Wars anthology films that have been announced to come out in between the release of this new trilogy of films. We're all very excited when we've gotten the details on these various films, as we see here a Rogue One movie and later a Han Solo movie. The Star Wars anthology films are a brilliant idea as they are standalone movies that will expand on the Star Wars universe without having an entire trilogy to fill in. In this video, I'd like to talk about why I believe Rogue One, a Star Wars story, will be not only one of the best Star Wars movies ever, but a great Star Wars story, and I'm so very excited for it. So welcome to why Rogue One will be awesome. I'm very excited to see this film, and as I said earlier, it's a standalone movie, which means we get a little contained story, and I'd like to show you some of the reasons, or tell you some of the reasons, why I think Rogue One is going to be fantastic and why I'm looking forward to it next year. I'd like to start off addressing a point that a lot of people have as far as problems go with the Star Wars universe, and while it's not a very big problem at all, I think that Rogue One will remedy it, and that's part of the reason why I think it will be so fantastic, and that being that we don't really get a sense on how the rise of the Empire affected the average person, or how the rebellion affected the average person in the Star Wars universe. This will be great, and we know Rogue One doesn't follow a group of Jedi as far as our knowledge goes. It follows a group of regular people like you and me who decide to fight for a greater cause and fight off against oppression that the Empire imposes over everyone. The basis for Rogue One is also extremely interesting. It follows the group of rebels that ended up stealing the Death Star plans, which we know leads directly into A New Hope, filling that gap in between Revenge of the Sith, closer to A New Hope, but still a very, very interesting story in its own right that was glazed over in A New Hope. Rogue One also promises to bring us long battlefield engagements that we only got to see briefly in the Star Wars original trilogy, and is a moment that really stands out in a lot of people's minds, that being the Battle of Hoth. It was fantastic. It's one of the standout scenes in the entire Star Wars saga. The fact that Rogue One promised us more of that is just fantastic. I cannot wait to see these large battlefield engagements, not following a group of superpowered Jedi or Sith, but regular people, and how these engagements are going to affect them and how they will react to them. As stated earlier, Rogue One has the advantage of being a standalone film, being able to tell its own little condensed story without having to worry about other films to come and a large overarching story, which I think is a great example, and this is going to be the first of a very different kind of Star Wars film, and different is not always bad. I just can't wait to see a condensed story, and the story of how this group of rebels were able to steal the Death Star plans from the Empire. Rogue One also has a fantastic visual director attached, the director of Godzilla 2014, Gareth Edwards, who did a fantastic job with the effects and visuals in that movie, and that's what I think Rogue One will have going for it as well. It's going to have large-scale engagements, and that's something that Godzilla 2014 excelled in. And the last thing of many great reasons why I think Rogue One will be fantastic that I'd like to touch on is the return of the Death Star and Darth Vader, and the classic Empire as an extension of that. Seeing the classic stormtroopers with updated effects is going to be great. Seeing Darth Vader again with updated effects is going to be fantastic. He is one of the most iconic and best villains of all time, and being able to experience him again in his prime, doing what he does best, hunting down the rebels, something that we only get to briefly see in the other Star Wars movies, is great. He does hunt down rebels, but it's more focused on our main cast of characters other than just general rebels, and we do know that Darth Vader was after the Death Star plans personally in A New Hope, so he will most likely or most definitely be appearing in this movie as one of, if not the main antagonist of the movie, and as a selling point, I've already bought my ticket when I hear that. Darth Vader returning will be great with updated effects. Hopefully they'll be able to get James Earl Jones to voice him again. I think that that's pretty likely, honestly, and I cannot wait to see this iconic movie character return on screen and bring the rebels a battle that they're most likely going to be not prepared for. I'm very excited to see this new cast of characters that will also be introduced. As far as what we've seen from the cast so far, it's fantastic. It's very star-studded, and that's something that is a little bit foreign to Star Wars movies as well. We get the original cast returning in the new trilogy, but also a few unknowns, which is great. And I think that since this is a very different type of Star Wars movie, it's great to go with more stars in the cast. So those are just a few of the reasons why I think Rogue One is going to be great and a great addition to the Star Wars universe. Go ahead and leave in the comments if you think Rogue One will be good. Do you think it will be the best Star Wars movie ever? Do you think it has that potential? Do you think it could be Empire Strikes Back? Anyway guys, may the Force be with you. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more Star Wars, and have a great day.